Hey friends, Shay here. So today I am here to film another video for you. So today we are here to talk about the best Josei I've read in the year of 2023. Now, caveat here, this is actually a top 10, not a top 5, because I read too many Joseis that were good this year and I want to talk about all of them. And secondly, there may be a manhwa or two in here that aren't technically classified as Joseis, but they are geared towards adult women. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about them here because it made the most sense. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go. So first up, we're going to talk about What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. So in What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, we are following Secretary Kim, who has put in her notice to her boss. And the boss doesn't understand why she's put in her notice. She's been with him for 9 years. And he now feels like he can't live his life without her. So he is now trying to woo Secretary Kim so that she remains part of his life. It's really cute. It's really fun. I am obsessed with them as characters. And I have not watched the K-drama yet because I want to read it all before I watch the K-drama. So if you tell me to watch it, it's still going to be a while because I want to read it first. So with that said, please read What's Wrong with Secretary Kim if you haven't started that one yet. The next one I have here is no surprise to anyone because it's one I've been fangirling about and I have 2 other videos about, and that is Don't Call It Mystery. Don't Call It Mystery. We are following a man in his early 20s named Totonu and the adventures and shenanigans he gets up to. In the first shenanigan that he's in, he's arrested for potentially murdering someone. And it is all about him figuring out who actually committed the murder. And things continue along that way for Totonu. Totonu is brilliant and funny, and everybody seems to just get along with Totonu. And he really is an interesting guy. He has a really interesting look at life and a way of asking questions no one else is willing to because of propriety or whatever. So I really love this series. I am obsessed. The 3rd volume is coming out at the end of this month, and it's something I'm definitely going to be picking up and reading right away because I love the series so much. So if you have not started Don't Call It Mystery, definitely do. The next one I have here is Changes of Heart. This is one that is buried in digital jail. This is about childhood friends who have always dated other people, but everybody thought they should date. And it gets to a point where she goes through a really bad breakup. He ends up being right there and they end up having sex together. And then they're like, okay, that felt good. That felt right. Let's try dating. And it's about their journey going through that. This is a high spice series, so if you don't like a lot of sexual content in your manga, this may not be for you, but I ended up really enjoying this. I thought the way their relationship kind of developed worked really well, considering they jumped into bed first and then they kind of had to backtrack and go back to really like trying to court and date each other, and it ended up working out really well for me. The last volume is like a side story about other characters that you end up getting really attached to, and I really enjoyed that volume as well. So this is 9 volumes complete. I really enjoyed it. Would definitely 10 out of 10 recommend it. This is one that I think Izzy found through TikTok, and I ended up reading it because of Izzy, and I ended up really loving it. So please read this one. I ended up reading it in basically 2 sittings, the entire series, because it was so good. So the next one I have here is another one that's buried in digital jail, but I hope we get physically, and that is Matcha Made in Heaven. Essentially, we have this woman who things didn't work out with the guy she was dating and was engaged to, so she moves home, and there's this guy helping run the matcha farm that she grew up on. Her brother, her niece, and this guy all live there. And the former fiance shows up, and so she pretends to be dating the other guy that's living at the matcha house, and so they kind of fake date to help each other out. And it ends up becoming more. Obviously, they catch feelings for one another and things continue to grow and blossom. There are currently 7 volumes out in Japan, or in the US, translated into English. And it's so, so good. Would 10 out of 10 recommend it. Again, the art is stunning. I really love everything that's going on in this one, and I'm really excited for the next volume. The next one I have here is one that I have only read the first volume of, but I am honestly obsessed with, and that is We Can't Do Just Plain Love. This is a Tokyo Pop series. This is a uncensored sexy manga, so it is not ghost peen. And with that, essentially these two people who work together end up hooking up because they don't do well in relationship situations. So it's kind of like a practice makes perfect, or potentially it's like if practice made perfect and Sweat and Soap had a baby, it's this manga. And it makes my heart very happy. This is, again, an office romance, and it is done in a way that is so good. Like, it's so compelling. Like, y'all have to try it. It's so, so good. The next one I have here is A Business Proposal. This is a series in which we're following a woman who is basically hired by her friend to go on one of these arranged marriage dates for her, but it ends up being with her boss. And so things get awkward because he's like, I'm going to marry the girl that shows up for this, you know, arranged marriage interview date thing. And so it's all about him like chasing her down. And then her friend who had sent her on the date ends up falling in love with the original date's secretary. And so it's a little bit messy, but it's going to work out great. And I'm really excited to see how it continues. There are 3 volumes out currently, and I'm really loving A Business Proposal. So would definitely recommend you check that one out. The next one I have here is The Dragon King's Imperial Wrath. This is one where we have a nerdy rat princess who wants nothing more than to sit in a library and read. And then what she doesn't understand is that she can withstand the Dragon King's wrath, and that's a sign that they're mates. And so he becomes absolutely infatuated and obsessed with her and wants to give her everything she wants. And it's so cute, but it's also political because all of these other types of creatures think they should be the mate of the Dragon King. And it's so fun. I really love it. It's just enough political fantasy while also being very romance driven that it tickles all my senses in the best way. So would definitely recommend checking out this series. When I read volume 1, it was one of the Reading Manga Like It's My Job vlogs. It was the first one. So I'll leave that linked in the corner if you want more of my full thoughts on that first volume. The next one I have here is the only steamship one on this list, surprisingly, and that is I Cant Refuse S. So this is the new steamship that I'm obsessed with. This is about a girl who comes to this mansion where this man lives to offer herself as a lover to him because she needs more money than what she's currently getting. And so the butler has basically put her in mistress training, and it's about them developing a relationship together. And I'm like obsessed with the energy and vibes here because, man, the way he talks to her, like, excuse me, sir, like, very high steam, very good, as most of the steamships are, and I really, really enjoy this one. So it is definitely my favorite steamship that I tried this year, and I would definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't. And then the last one I've got for this list, maybe it's only 9, I don't remember, but the last one I have for this list is The Ice Guy and the Cool Girl. I believe the anime of this one is The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague. Is how it's written, but it's the Ice Guy and the Cool Girl. So it's essentially this man who's a descendant of a snow spirit ends up getting frozen on his first day at a new job. And this girl comes up and she tries to help him unfreeze himself. And so she tries pouring some tea on the ice. That didn't work. So she ends up warming him up from the inside, helping him relax. And so he ends up being able to free himself. What he doesn't know is they actually are starting at the same job in the same position, so they'll be working together on the same day. And so it's both their first days, and it's about how he's slowly fall in love with her and her little kindnesses that she gives him. And it's really sweet and really precious. I am obsessed with these two, and I cannot wait for more. There are currently 2 volumes out, and the anime is absolutely adorable. So if you haven't watched the anime yet, I highly recommend you do. So with that said, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're here just because you love me, leave me a snowman emoji, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.